India has taken over the G20 Group of Nations presidency for a year, began on 1st December 2022 and ending on 30th November 2023. During this period, the country is expected to host over 200 meetings at 56 locations across metropolitan cities like Delhi and Mumbai, state capitals like Lucknow, and important tourist and historical sites like Udaipur, Agra, Varanasi, and among others. India has always been described as a land of paradoxes, be it India's culture, diversity, or sheer population size. It is complicated and fascinating. For about 2 decades now, the engines of the nation's economic growth have been firing impressively. Companies have become larger and many have left a rather large global imprint. India's presidency of the G20 Forum, which represents 85% of global GDP and 75% of international trade, is hugely important as it comes at an inflection point when a confident India is looking to flex its muscles globally after it breezed the past years of the pandemic and emerged relatively unscathed. We have seen the transition of India from close quarters. Earlier, we had limited influence on the world stage, but that has changed. Businesses are a lot more confident. In many ways, the beginning of this new story was the opening of the country in the early 1990s. That growing confidence is a reflection of the Indian economy's increasing clout. In just a decade, India has zoomed from being the 10th largest economy to the 5th now. But that has not translated into commensurate influence on global policies. India's G20 presidency is well timed for it to exercise greater influence on the agenda and narrative of global policies across economic, social, environmental, and digital sectors. This is when we are the fastest growing large economy in a polarizing world with elevated debt, decelerating growth, and rising uncertainty. The close coordination that the G20 platform has facilitated over the past year has had many benefits. More than 18 ministerial meetings, 80 at the working group level, and 33 engagement group meetings, apart from numerous side events. These interactions have not only given Indian officials and businesses insights into various aspects of global finance and development, but also to the who's who of global decision making. All this is expected to translate into trade and investment opportunities for Indian businesses that will also help with global expansion. Besides, it could also give domestic industry a prominent seat at the table, not just in international trade but also in discussions on policy matters like trade agreements. It may also give Indian firms a bigger say in issues like climate change. As a country, a lot of work has been done on developmental R&D. The digital stack has been a big breakthrough for India and one that can be taken to the rest of the world. The G20 comes when India is at an interesting stage of development and better off than most countries. Think oil and gas and think green. If that is hard to grasp, it's what large companies in the sector are working towards. Take Reliance Industries Limited, for instance. The oil to telecom to retail behemoth mentions the word green as many as 133 times in its 2023 annual report. In fact, the company makes it clear that it is committed to maximizing integration and producing high-level chemicals and green materials for the growing Indian market. At the ongoing G20 meetings during India's presidency, the country has pitched itself as a hub for the manufacture of fast electric chargers, electric vehicle batteries, and battery recycling. To emphasize its commitment, the Indian government has set 40% for buses, 30% for private cars, 70% for commercial vehicles, and 80% for two-wheelers by 2020. For the first time now, startups have a dedicated forum under the G20 umbrella. By having a dedicated forum for startups, the G20 nations can work together to support and enhance the growth
of the startup ecosystem. It will not only drive progress and innovation within the G20 but also have a positive impact on the global economy and society as a whole.